Why does it make sense to work with a certified liability advisor? To answer that, I'm going to start by talking about why we believe the balance sheet should have three sides and how they all work together to help your clients increase their wealth. Financial advisors tell me that there are a lot of different ways they think about managing assets, but an overarching theme in making decisions are around three main criteria. Those are safety, liquidity, and return, and your challenge is balancing these three things appropriately. Your client should care about these three things as well, but I would guess that most of them only focus on one of these. Depending on the client, you are most often getting asked about either return or safety. From people I talk to, liquidity seems to be the least talked about, until of course they're up against a need and can't access the money. What is the largest asset that most of your clients have? There's a good chance, depending on their income bracket, that it is their house. When you think about real estate, what are the three words you hear regularly associated with real estate, especially from realtors or investors? It's always about what? Location, location, location. Why is location considered the most important aspect of real estate? The better the location, the higher the chance of appreciation. And of course, another term for appreciation is return. Most people don't talk about safety of the house as an asset unless they feel safer by having the house paid off. And again, they rarely talk about liquidity until they find they have a need for it. Now, back to the balance sheet. As a financial advisor, you typically manage what is on the left side of the balance sheet. For the segment of the population who is willing and able to create wealth, you are there to help them grow their asset side of the balance sheet. Liabilities are traditionally on the right side of the balance sheet. What industry group typically helps clients manage liabilities? You might be inclined to say lender, and a lender can certainly help people take on liabilities, but unfortunately, lenders are rarely looking at the best way to help a client actually manage their liabilities by discussing repayment strategies, etc., to turn them into assets. Most lenders are just selling money and often making your job harder. So what is missing? The house is the intersection of assets and liabilities. It is where 84% of Americans have the majority of their wealth. But we also know that for quite a while, that can be their largest liability as well. Even if the house is paid off, there will still always be associated costs with that asset. We can't get away from the fact that it costs money to live indoors. This is why we like to look at a balance sheet as three-sided instead of two. Now comes the question, who manages real estate for your clients? You might think realtor, but have you ever met a realtor who is actively managing the real estate wealth of their client? Traditionally, you are managing your client's assets, a realtor is selling your client real estate, and a lender is selling your client debt. Because of that, there's a good chance that you work to help your clients with advice on these areas that shouldn't necessarily be taking up your time and resources. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone you could trust to help clients better manage liabilities, particularly the very large liability around their real estate? Truly managing liabilities should be approached with the same amount of thought and dedication that you put into managing their assets. That's why I went through 30 hours of training and education to become a certified liability advisor, a designation I take very seriously and continue to train weekly so I can best help and educate borrowers and homeowners. It's important to me to work with clients and their advisors to make sure we are on the same page and working towards a common goal. I help clients avoid unknown and unnecessary wealth transfer mistakes they could make when borrowing. Those wealth transfer mistakes often compound over time, just like interest. We are looking to minimize the cost of borrowing over time. A number of your clients are probably in a dilemma, and you and I are in the middle of that dilemma. What is the dilemma? I get a lot of questions when helping people manage their liabilities, and I'm guessing you get asked these as well. Should I get a 15-year mortgage or a 30? Should I put down all of the money from the sale of my house towards the new house? I just got inheritance. Should I pay off my house? What is the dilemma they are really in when they ask this? It's a version of location, location, location. We said it is true in real estate, but it is also true in what we both do together. These questions boil down to, should I put the money in my house and lower my mortgage balance, or invest in savings? The heart of the question is really, what is the highest and best use of my money? I can show you a lot of different ways that we can work together with strategies to help clients reduce the cost of ownership dramatically over their lifetime. When your client is buying a first house, a new house, or an investment property, when they want a large sum of money and need to look at if it should come from their investment or from a loan against their real estate, when they are trying to decide if a refinance makes sense, when they have a big house they don't need anymore, but they're concerned about trading down and what their options are. Like you, I'm always looking at safety, liquidity, and return, as well as hidden costs, tax consequences, leverage, and diversification. I'm just doing it from the liability side of the balance sheet. Together, I believe we can create a truly comprehensive plan for clients. If you are working to solve a problem for a client or working on someone's annual review and want to see more options for factoring in their real estate and liabilities, share the numbers with me and let's discuss what options I might see. Thanks for your time, and please reach out with any questions about how I may be of service to you and your clients.